Hi everyone. So we're going to do some review this week before we get started. After spring break, we'll do some new stuff. So if you already understand solving equations and multiplying binomials, you can just get started on the assignment. And if you have questions, you can come back to this video. So this video is just to help you review. If you look at these two problems so far and you cannot solve them, continue watching this, okay? So I'm just going to go through these problems with you guys. If you want to write it down on a separate sheet of paper, feel free. If not, you can just watch. But this is just to help you guys out with your assignment, okay? So the first thing we're going to do, when we see an equal sign, if you want to, you don't have to, but I draw a line down the middle. And we're going to solve the left side by distributing. So 6 times 6x is 36x, and 6 times 6 is 36. And then minus 5, bring that down, equals 1 plus 4x. Okay, now we're going to combine like terms. So 36 minus 5 is going to be 31. And then 36x equals 1 plus 4x. It doesn't matter where you put the x's, but they need to be on the same side. So let's subtract the 4x on this side. By the way, you're going to have fraction answers for some or all even maybe of the ones on your assignment. So I made fraction answers here for a couple of them. So if we subtract 31, remember our goal is to get the x terms by itself. So we have 32x equals negative 30. 1 minus 31 is negative 30. And then we divide. So when we divide, notice that this is not going to go in evenly. Oops, I didn't mean to put negative. Divide by 32. So x equals, now on your assignment on My Open Math, you have to simplify. So if we simplify here, we can divide by 2 to the top and the bottom. So our answer is going to be negative 30 divided by 2 is negative 15, and 32 divided by 2 is 16. That's going to be your answer. So it's going to be a fraction because it's not going to go in evenly. All right, number 2. Again, you see an equal sign, so you want to draw a line down the middle, and we're going to distribute here. So negative 3, and then negative 3 times 6x is negative 18x equals 14 minus 2x. And then add 2x. I'm going to watch your Flipgrid videos today. I miss you guys so much. You have no idea. This is so weird doing this from home and just being home this whole time. So negative 18 plus 2 is negative 16x equals 14. And then we're going to move the 3. So whenever we cross this line, we always do the opposite, which is why we're going to add 3. Because every single time just to remind you guys, like here, we want those to cancel. So a positive 4 and a negative 4 is going to cancel. A positive 31 and a negative 31 is going to cancel. If we're multiplying, the opposite of multiplying is dividing. And so that's going to cancel. So here, to cancel a negative 3, we're going to add 3 to both sides. And then negative 16x equals 14 plus 3 is 17. And then we're going to divide. So we can't simplify that because 17 over negative 16, there's nothing that goes into both of those numbers. So that's going to be your final answer. Make sure to simplify on My Open Math if you can, unless you can't, but if you can simplify, do that or it'll mark you wrong. Okay. So this time we can combine terms over here. So we're going to look on the left-hand side of the equal sign. We have a 10x and we have a minus x. So 10 minus, this is like a 1 in front of it, right? So 10 minus 1 is 9x. And then we have positive 9 minus 11. So 9 minus 11 is negative 2 equals, and then we can distribute here. So negative 2 times 2x, negative 4x. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. And then we need to combine, we can't keep simplifying over here. So we need to get the x's together. So I'm going to add 4x. So 9 plus 4 is 13x minus 2 equals negative 8, and then add 2. So 13x equals negative 6. divided by 13. Again, we can't simplify there. So x equals negative 6 over 13. Okay, and that's it. Number 4. So we have 2 more solving equations, and then we're just going to multiply binomials, okay? So, again, draw a line. Do what you can on each side first before we move things over. So 12 times 2 is 24x. 12 times 11 is 132. 12 times 2 is 24x. 12 times 12 is 144. Okay, I'm going to move the 24x over to the other side, so I'm going to subtract 24x. Now look what happens here. 24 minus 24 is 0. And then over here, 24 minus 24 is 0. So both of them cancel. So we have 132 equals 144. Is that a true statement? No. So this is no solution. Remember, if it was 132 equals 132, then it's going to be infinite solutions, right? So if that was your answer, it'd be infinite. Okay. Number 5. So negative 9 times x, let's draw a line down here, is negative 9x. And negative 9 times 8 is negative 72 plus 172 equals, we can combine those because we don't have x's over there. So 13 plus 15 is 28. Okay, on this side, we can't do anything with the negative 9x, but we can combine those two. So I'm just going to drop down the negative 9x. And then negative 72 plus 172 is a positive 100. And then subtract 100. So negative 9x equals negative 72. And then divide by negative 9. So remember, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 72 divided by 9 is 8. So x equals 8. All right, so that's how we solve equations. So I think you have 8 solving equations, if I remember right, and then 8 multiplying binomials. So when we multiply binomials by this right here means 2. So you see how we have 2 numbers here and 2 numbers here? Those are called binomials. What I mean by numbers, by the way, not really numbers, terms. Let's think about it as terms. So 3x is a term, negative 2 is a term. So we have 2 terms there. That's called a binomial because there's 2 terms. So we're going to multiply binomials, which means FOIL. So I wrote over here, first, outer, inner, last. So that means your first 2 terms are these 2 terms. We're going to multiply the first 2 terms, which is what the F stands for. So 3x times 1x, we do 3 times 1, which is 3. X times x, which is x squared. That's how we multiply 3x times x, or 3x times 1x. Okay, so that's first. Now we're going to look at the outer. It's literally the outer 2. So these 2 are the outer 2 numbers. So I'm going to multiply 3x times 6. So 3 times 6 is 18. X goes on the end. Then the inner 2 numbers. So the inner 2, I'm going to do the different color. Inner 2, negative 2 times 1x is negative 2x. And then the last numbers of each set, which is negative 2 and 6. So negative 2 and 6 are the last 2 numbers of each of those parentheses. So negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. Okay, now you're going to, there's nothing we can combine here, so 3x squared comes down. But we can do 18x minus 2x, which is 16x, and then minus 12. We can't combine anything else. X squared, x, and 12, they don't have anything in common. They would all have to have the same variable. So we can't combine any of those, so that's our final answer. Okay, just 4 more. So x times x, the first 2 numbers, x times x is x squared. The outer 2 numbers, negative 3 times x is negative 3x. The inner 2 numbers, 6 times x is 6x. And the last 2 numbers is negative 18. We can combine the middle 2, so we have x squared. Negative 3x plus 6x is 3x minus 18. And that's it. Okay, number 8, 2x times 4x, the first 2 terms, that's 8x squared. 2x times negative 8, negative 16x. negative 6 times 4, negative 24x. And negative 6 times negative 8 is positive 48. Okay, so I'm going to bring down the 8x squared. I'm going to combine the middle two, which is negative 40x plus 48. All right, 9 and 10. So x times x squared, x times 1, 1x. 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 1 is 3. So x squared, 1x plus 3x is 4x plus 3. I know this is all review, you guys, but it's really important you know how to do all this stuff before we move on, especially with the situation now. And when you guys probably haven't done math in like 4 weeks, so we definitely need to review this stuff first. So 5 times 6 is 30, and then x times x is x squared. 5x times negative 1, negative 5x. Negative 6 times 6x is negative 36x. And negative 6 times negative 1 is positive 6. Make sure you know that this 6 is a negative and this 1 is a negative, because a lot of people will multiply like 6 times negative 1. But that's a negative 6, so be careful there. 30x squared minus, that's 41x plus 6. And that's it. So try the problems on My Open Math. If you guys have questions, please email me. And I made it so you could try as many times as possible, as many times as you need. So you guys can all get 100%. Just keep trying that assignment, okay? Let me know if you have any questions.